Hi everybody, welcome back to my LinkedIn Lives. I'm Jasmine Navarro, certified wellbeing expert, working with educational institutions and companies, helping them support their family wellbeing challenges. As you know, every week I interview different experts who make a difference. And today I'm super excited, finally, to be interviewing Kim. Hi, Kim.
Hey Jazz, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on, especially after last week and then all these other things that have been happening. But can you tell us about yourself and what you do?
Absolutely. My name is Kim Shelar, everybody. I'm a leadership energy coach. What that means is if you're a person leading a team, leading a company, leading your business, I help you understand your energy, whether you're functioning from masculine, feminine, imbalance, victim energy. That is true. And how do you change that? And the second layer of it, how do you start understanding your own blocks in terms of victimhood, in terms of untapped energy? And third and final, the most important, is understanding your aura and your presence through your aura, your magnetism through your auric fields, how to recognize leaks in your aura and then fix them so that you can live your authentic life in your own lane.
Wowzers is all I can say. I know you've spoken a little bit to me about this before, and it's already blown my mind. So I'm so excited to be talking to you more today. But so you chose today, and we've had a few comments and questions about this. Stop being a masculine woman. Now, can you tell us what that means and why you chose to talk about that today?
Because I wish I knew earlier, Jazz. When I was back in my corporate days, and I think most women that I meet, or at least everybody that's a client of mine, we just don't know better. To succeed in business or in corporate life, and actually even in life, we think that the only way forward is the survival mode, is the drive mode. So when you look at the chakras, the survival mode comes from the root chakra, which is you're just like, if I don't do this, I'll not have a job. If I don't do this, I'm going to lose opportunity. If I don't do this, your safety, security is all about not a forward, not a toward energy, but more of, if I don't do this, then I will lose that. So it's a fear aversion, and that puts people in survival mode. Now, most of us, our parents, our conditioning, our cultures, what we watch on the movie, it's creating an imprint on our subconscious. So whether you've nobody chooses to be in survival mode. It's a coping mechanism, right? It's a response to a stimuli, to stress. But because we've done that repeatedly and we haven't known better, we haven't discussed other ways of doing things, the consciousness says, yeah, survival mode, and hustle is not a problem if it's intentional, right? But when you're just in survival
Exactly.
mode
Yeah.
because you don't know what you're doing, you're going to burn out. And a woman, when she's in survival mode, is a masculine energy. A woman that is constantly in drive, which is the solar plexus energy, is in masculine energy. And when you're looking at those two, they're in the center of the sacral chakra, which is your womb wisdom. She's shut out of creativity. She's shut out of womb wisdom. A woman is meant to be in wisdom, which doesn't mean you don't get work done, but it actually is the OG imprint of do less and get more, because you're functioning from magnetism, you're functioning from
Oh, wow.
wisdom, also called common sense, which many of us lack because we're just picking up what works for the masculine energy without tapping into what's already ingrained into your being.
Oh, wow. I've never heard that before. Did you say womb wisdom?
Yes, womb wisdom.
Tell me more about that. I've never heard of that before. That sounds so like exciting that we already
So
have something. We don't have to do much about it. Yeah.
Ooh. What does our womb actually do? Create babies. So it's the center of creativity, creation, right?
Oh,
So when your womb is shut down because you don't have connection to it, when your womb is shut down because of shame to do with your sensuality, shame to do with your menstrual cycle, shame related to anything that makes you a woman, you're shutting down your innate energy of projection, of magnetism, of creativity that makes you a woman. When you shut that down, or when you're highly in the survival mode is coming from the root chakra. That energy pushes through and covers the sacral energy. You've never been able, Jess, you'll never see a woman who's in survival mode and can be in her soft, energetic power.
Yeah, you
Softness
can't do
is
both.
not weakness. Softness is not, I'm just going to wait and for the universe to lead me. That's stupidity. Softness in groundedness is I lead in grace, but wisdom leads me. So that means I don't have to be loud. There's precision, there's coming to the point directly. There are 8 different principles that I teach of how you convert yourself from a masculine woman to a feminine woman, which really harnesses the feminine power first and then takes you back to ground in your masculine power, which is precision, which is structure. It's not like, I'm a unicorn farting rainbows and that's how my life is going to be. No, there's a lot of sensibility to understanding the masculine and the feminine.
Wow. Oh, I'm just blown away already with everything you're saying, Kim. Let me just say hi to everyone who's joining. Hi, Ashlyn. She says, such an important topic to touch on. Thank you so much for joining us. And hi, Kimberly. She says, good morning, ladies. What a great conversation. Great energy. More women need to become comfortable with awakening. Everyone should discover what their human design. I'm a manifesting generator. Thank you so much.
Kimberly.
Yeah, and hi to everybody else who's joining. Please let us know if you have any questions or comments. We would love to hear from you. So, Kim, there's so much to ask you, but where do we start then? Because I feel like a lot of the time I am in survival mode. I'm really learning a bit more about myself and how to let go and things like that. But where do we start? Because most of us are in survival mode, I think.
Okay, I think the first place to start is identify if you are in your imbalanced masculine energy. And I'll give you 3 easy ways to identify. If a woman is constantly trying to control, you're like, that's me right there.
Exactly. Totally.
Trying to control the outcome, that's a masculine energy. I want to control the outcome because that allows you unconsciously to feel safe. That if I know that I did this, or that result is going to be received because I did everything. And how that shows up in a masculine woman, you don't delegate, you don't take help, you don't allow people to do things because you're like, the result is more important than the process. I can't let
Yeah.
go. So what does a woman like that do? She's doing everything and then she's burning out and then she's cribbing about it. That's number 1. Part 2 of control is a woman in control. The feminine part of it, or the wounded feminine part of it, is you're trying to control the narrative. That's the perfectionist. A lot of women have the perfectionist situation. It's like, everyone should say this, everyone should feel this. I want to control the narrative of how I look. So guess what? You're stuck at your very base chakra, which is the root chakra, and that's imbalanced on the feminine and the masculine part of it. There's no elevation, there's no magnetism, there's no peace. That leads to overthinking, that leads to second guessing, that leads to I'm not good enough, and that generally will lead to a woman eventually burning out, ruining close relationships because she doesn't let go, she doesn't allow help, and then she'll blame everybody. That's the first sign, the lack of control. The second sign of a woman in her masculine energy, and I say this with no filter, take a picture of yourself. She will constantly have a resting, angry face that the world call resting bitch face because she's drained, she's angry, she's just upset because your
Uptight.
energy as a woman, your conscious, your nervous system is not even imbalanced, it's exploited. So what that does, your body is tight, your body is high on cortisol, and your body is angry because when you are in such high levels of imbalanced nervous system, your body is always closed down. So
Yeah.
what are the effects of that? Intimate relationships are affected. These are women that cannot enjoy the softer things of life. It shows up in them picking up their teas and their coffees and walking around, trying to do 100 things in a day because their list is so long, but they'll do 10 things and then they'll do 10 things 8 out of 10 things will be half done, and then they're running around, and then they'll be, oh,
Yeah.
maybe I have this issue and I'll try to medicate that. No, you need to slow down because your nervous system is trespassed.
And it never ends. Let me
It
just
never
say,
ends.
and Kimberly says, curiosity can be one of the most powerful motivators. Lily says, hi Lily. Kimberly says, do not shrink for anyone. And also Kimberly says, the most sacred boundary is this: if it dimmed your light, it was never meant to carry your fire.
Beautifully
And
said.
oh, the mirror knows my bitch face.
Show the bitch face. The third sign of a woman in her masculine energy is the often and occasional outburst. It's not that, hey, I'm PMSing, I'm allowed to outburst. No, your your nervous system is like smashed, squished, rolled over. So suddenly you're so wounded, you're not regulated on the inside that the wind can blow the wrong way and she goes like, wah, claws out. So now let's take that question back, Jazz. Why does someone want to be around a woman like this? Her voice is not from her core, from her depth, from her heart. It's just from it's like it's from the throat where it's squeezed. So you're screaming, like even sitting in a room of a woman that is so for a long time in a masculine energy, that voice lands as pain in your ears. And I'm only
Absolutely. And
saying
the energy, you can probably feel the energy as well without realizing.
you're screaming because your body is exhausted and you think you have to go harder, you have to be louder to be
Yeah.
heard, to be
Yeah.
received, and to get stuff done.
Absolutely. And Ashlyn's got a question here, which I think a lot of people will probably think in this. Thanks, Ashlyn. So many women feel they need to do everything. How can they learn to receive trust and let go of control without feeling unsafe? That is the question.
That
Thanks,
is such a wonderful question. Thank you, Ashlyn, for asking that. The first thing is let's take that question backwards. Your safety does not come from a person, from a job, from a country. It comes from your relationship with self. So, step number one, work on that. That is not a Kim said go and do one meditation or go under the full moon and lie down and you're going to get healed. No, it's a daily process. You take a shower every day, you go to the gym every day, you eat every day, you study every day, whatever. Similarly, you create a better relationship with yourself, that your safety comes from my connection to self, my connection to universe, God, higher consciousness. When you build that, and you understand that your safety security is coming from this connection, you take away the need and the control to change your environment for your safety. A lot of women, that's the other sign of when you're trying to change and say, if this person did this, I'll feel better. If that person did that, I'll feel better. You're changing the environment for you. That's a time to just pause and say, you know what? I'm just going to work on me, and then start setting boundaries, awareness of what works, what does not work, and have the wisdom to let go of the need to change people for our comfort. So start first with, I'm going to work on my relationship with self, because when that changes, that energy shifts everything within you. Because when you feel safe and you feel accountable for your own life, your health, your wealth, your peace, your joy, that is when the control begins to fall off and you just start controlling what's within my capacity. You give your best wherever you go, whether it's a conversation, it's a friend, it's a relationship, and then you're like, you know what? It is what it is. I gave it my best. I surrender now. And you allow the universe, higher consciousness, God, whatever you believe in, to start bringing things into your reality.
Oh, I love that. That's so I'm blind. You're blowing me away, Kim. But how? Okay, I think I'm learning this anyway, gradually, because of the things that have happened recently to me. I've just had to let go. But if somebody wants to know, how do you let go and surrender? Like, how do you know you've done that? Because some people think it's given up.
I love this. Okay. Giving up, surrender, and letting go are actually three different processes. I'm going to go walk everyone through surrender. Surrenders, a lot of people go like, I did everything, now I surrender. The universe is going to fix it, God is going to fix it. No, if you make, I don't know, a karak out of matcha and then say, okay, God, fix this, I surrender. That's bullshit. You're starting wrong. So the process of surrender is you set an intention. What do I want to do? What do I want to show up? So you're setting an intention for the work you're doing or whatever is your intention. Then you go into the second stage, which is I will lean in for guidance. Now, lean in for guidance, you have to know yourself for this. Where do I get my guidance from? Is it when I go for a walk? Is it when I'm meditating? Is it when I'm taking a shower? Many people have their moments of brilliance in the shower. So when you start learning about yourself, you're like, okay, I set the intention. I want to write a book. Universe, can you lead me? Energy, can you lead me? And then because you know yourself, you're like, I know I need to go on the walk and listen. Or somebody else has to go and play tennis. Someone else has to go for a swim. Someone else has to go for a meditation. You're like, this is the way my higher self, my soul, universe speaks to me. You lean in for guidance. When you get the guidance, show up. That is key, because a lot of time people get the idea and then you want to set up all the 10 steps so you guarantee your success. If you ask,
sorry, yeah,
what people do is when you get the guidance, you go like, no, then tell me, what should I do? Should I write 10 pages? Should I do this? Why am I going to this event? What will I get out of it? What's my ROI? No, if you were given the guidance, the download, the wisdom, do it. Show up without any questions and show up in all your energy, full authenticity, full, pure, all of you in that moment, and then you surrender. That's surrender. Giving up is you're trying to bring, you're not the only one bringing energy to the table. So you bring 10%, someone else bring 10%, and then you bring 10%, and then they go minus 2%, minus 10%. That's where you use your wisdom and say, it's a loss to keep bringing my energy to this table, to this conversation, because there's no reciprocal energy here. That is when you say, I give up, I let go. Moving to the actual process of letting go is when I've given it my all. I've showed up 100%. I've given invitation for your side of the story. I'm listening without judgment. And still, this is the end of the road. Again, you apply your wisdom and go, some stories are one chapters. We may want it to be a lifetime story. I thought it could be this. You promised me that, and we could, and we should, and all of that. But your wisdom says, I tried everything. Invitation to chat, to resolve, to be an adult, and it's not happening. I let go. And letting go does not need someone to say, hey, can you please forgive me? I didn't do this. I didn't understand. You don't need closure to let go. Just that is wisdom.
Wow. Yeah. So before you let go, you say you have to try everything that you believe is possible.
Absolutely, because then you want to close that loop in your head that I gave it my all, and I gave it my authentic, real all. What does that mean? That I didn't go with a preconceived notion that my story is the only side of the story. I'm like, okay, listen, I'm going to put my story at the side, conduct myself better, and come and suggest, what happened, babe? Can we talk? Give me your side of the story. And you're like, no, I don't want to talk, but Kim, I hate you. I'm like, okay, babe, let's talk. What's the problem? Let's talk. And then you're like, no, I just hate you. I'm like,
I think exactly what you're saying as well when you said about working on yourself. I think that is so key, actually, isn't it? Because it's all about you and you. And if you don't know how to listen to yourself, then you really can't go the next step, can you? That is ultimately definitely the first step.
When you don't work on yourself and you don't change your patterns, the problem is, Jazz, we don't know better, but we're not tied to the past. Nobody stops us to go to YouTube, to go to any online platform and learn something. The problem, and it's a very large percentage of people of problem, and I say this without a filter, people are looking to be rescued.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What energy is that then if you're looking to be rescued? Or victim energy?
Wounded energy. That's the wounded energy.
It's a wounded energy.
That's the Rapunzel and all the fairy tale stories. That's the wounded feminine. That I will sit quietly in my castle and someone's going to come and rescue me. And you see that in men and women. It's not. It's just a wounded feminine aspect of us. But when you work on yourself, you learn about yourself. Because then here's the part about work. When we say work on yourself, I'm not saying just the elevation. Massive part of that is the shedding, because 80% of your day you're not very intentional. You're just getting up, you're walking, tarara tarara tarara. So when you're not intentional, what is really happening is your unconscious or your subconscious self is driving your life. Now if that subconscious self sabotages you, is fearful to show up, is somebody that gives excuses, is looking to be rescued, you will give yourself very valid excuses for not doing things.
Oh yeah,
So you
exactly. Totally.
exactly right. So you have to educate yourself that what does my unconscious self behave when triggered? How does my unconscious self behave when I'm pulled up for something that I actually did? Right? How does my unconscious self behave when I'm tired? Because the minute you're physically, mentally, emotionally tired, your brain switches off, your analytical brain switches off. So you're not making decisions, you're not living
Yes.
intentionally, your consciousness just takes over. So in that moment, notice a lot of people will break up when they're mentally exhausted, they've had an emotional
Oh
disagreement,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
their consciousness takes over and says, this is too much drama, let's just run away.
Yeah.
Worse, people when they're setting up a side hustle or they're doing some work and they're physically tired and they're like, no, no, I can't do this, I can't do this, because in that moment your mechanisms, protection mechanisms, kick in and say, too much work, don't do it, just leave yourself. So if you can apply something from there, don't make decisions, any decisions, when you're physically, mentally, emotionally tired, because your consciousness is just going to get up and say, run away. Protection mechanism.
Amazing. No, amazing. And on Instagram, Joanna, hi Joanna, she says, I love you both. Um, and Kimberly says you have to be the change you want to see. Ashlyn says, thank you. Kimberly says, yes, be open to receiving the download. So many think, oh, that BS, the universe has no control over my thoughts. This is where they're wrong. Daily affirmations are real. And
Mhm.
Kimberly said, do you be okay with that? You are the only one that lives with yourself every day. Learn to love and respect that person every day, even when the crown gets heavy. Thank you so much. Oh, I've got another comment. Be the kind woman who straightens another woman's crown without telling her it was crooked. Women help other women rise. Thank you so much, Kimberly. Yes, no, this is amazing. So what's the first step then to get into our feminine energy? And also, depending on what energy we're in, we're going to attract the opposite. Is that right?
Absolutely, not the opposite. You
Oh,
attract the manifesting that comes in the same energy or the opposite. So you've asked me two questions. I'm going to tap into
sorry.
how do
Yeah.
you create,
Sorry. I got
no
excited.
worries, how do you create that attraction? And you're not creating. People are like, I'm going to manifest and I'm going to attract. You're attracting it. Your energy is magnetizing it anyways. People think manifesting, you're looking at it as a positive connotation. You're manifesting everything. If you're in
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
victim mindset, guess what your friends are? They're all babies, and you all sit together and we have a little teas and matchas and all of it and go, you did, he did, she did, they did. What are you doing about it? Right? If you, it's just a vibrational match. And what happens sometimes, it's
Yeah.
like attract like. However, when you're in the wounded energy, sometimes like attracts the opposite manifesting. For example, an empath will always attract someone that needs more attention. A wounded feminine, the one who's rescuing me, will always attract people or a male partner that is a sense of being, comes from rescuing you. But then what happens in that relationship, it's such a highly codependent relationship that it's a matter of another trigger or another Mercury retrograde to just have things blown apart, because nobody's in their lane. You're kind of leaning on each other consistently, and you take that same energy and go in the office where people go like, I came here, I don't know anything, I'm waiting for direction. No, Google, go learn, take accountability. It's such a beautiful energy of growth, that I don't know something, fine, it's okay, I'm not, a know-it-all. Let's go to Google, let's find somebody who's 10 steps ahead of me and learn from them. And if that means it comes at a price, khalas, pay for it. That is the first step of anyone moving from any wounded energy to your center, is take accountability. I don't know something. I'm going to find someone that's 10 steps ahead of me. If I need to pay them, I will pay them and I'll get my life in order. Because reality is, people might come to rescue me. Not that people don't, but the question is, can I learn to fill my own cup? Can I learn to empty my own cup and shed what does not work for me? And can I really know myself in my truest depths, my highs, my lows, my strengths, my weaknesses? Because when we do that, now this is important, Jazz, when you know yourself, you're not an easy person to manipulate.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Right? Because a person who doesn't know themselves
Yes.
can be easily manipulated with, hey, you're so good, and la 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 la, and you get a high, and then guess what? You are buying things you don't need, you are doing things you never wanted to do, and then you're sitting in regret that, I got fooled, I got manipulated, but I thought this, and he was so nice, and she was so nice, because you didn't know yourself. Similarly, when you don't know yourself and you don't know your flaws, you're always overcompensating or you're not showing up. And then you
Right.
wonder why somebody else got a promotion, because you may be great at your work, but your projection is not as powerful as what you do behind the scenes.
Absolutely. So basically, are you saying then the first thing to do is really heal that wounded energy before you even think about masculine or feminine? Is healing the wounded?
Start spending a certain amount of time in self-reflection.
Okay.
Self-reflection, find a teacher, a coach, a therapist that you aligns with your goals, and then keep moving on. Get into that habit of, I have to work on myself, not as, hey, I just went for one meditation and I'm good, or I went for one course and I'm good. It's a work
Yeah.
in progress. I tell
Yes.
all my clients just that, do not shop self improvement. Stick with a teacher for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years.
Absolutely.
Go through
Absolutely.
that journey with them. That is when your life takes quantum leaps. Because a lot of people
Absolutely.
look at it, and again, that's an element of control. I feel like yoga today. I feel like a full moon meditation today, honey. Then you don't. If you know what you know, you wouldn't be stuck where you are today.
Yeah.
That's people
Absolutely.
who are good at what they do. Take that control, that I know it all, and say, if I knew it, then it should have worked for me right now, but it's not working. So
Yes.
can I
Yes.
put the guard down and say, I don't know squat. I'm going to find someone and use my brain that works, my consciousness that works, and say, that person's really going to help me, and then dive into it. That's
Amazing.
what should
Well, I
happen.
got to ask you another question. I know we've run out of time, but I got to ask you another question, Kim, if you don't mind. So going back to the feminine. Okay, so yeah, that's all that makes sense. I mean, it's amazing everything that you've said. So the feminine energy. So how do we know what energy we are in, and how do we get what energy should we be in? Like, is there a percentage of masculine, feminine? And how do we
Absolutely.
start getting into our feminine? I mean, I'm more in my feminine energy now, but still, I want to be even more, if you
So
know what I
the
mean.
first way to recognize if you're not in your feminine energy embodied is if you have a lot of need for control, like we spoke of earlier. And
Oh,
then the wounded feminine has a lot of need for validation. How do you check if you're
oh,
in the need of validation? The constant need for, how did it go? How do I look? Have I put on weight? Am I thin? Look at the mirror. The constant need for validation is a sign of the wounded feminine. So somebody,
wow.
a lot of women can look feminine. You're wearing the uniform, you're talking like that, but the wounded feminine is very confusing because you think she's feminine, but she's constantly seeking attention, constantly
Yeah.
seeking validation. And when that doesn't happen, she has a breakdown.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
The actual balance is the feminine, the grounded feminine is 80% in a feminine energy. I'll tell you what that means. And 20% in her masculine energy, because your masculine energy is within us and it grounds you. Because, oh, the wounded feminine again is all feminine, but you're all, there's just no structure. Those people
Oh,
are not the ones that can keep their word. They're all over the place. They're not messy in appearance, but still messy over here, because you don't know yourself. You're like, how do I look? How did I do this? Know yourself. Be honest with yourself, right? So how does one switch? And I'll give you very three easy tips to apply literally after this call. Is make time for reflection every day. Just ask yourself three questions. How did my day go? It went well. Great. Why did it go well? What did I do that I can replicate tomorrow? The second question is actually, and it's said 100,000 times, learn how to be grateful for everything. Because if you don't do that, the mind is programmed in a certain way, and your subconscious, you want to start changing your automated reaction of your subconscious, that even if you're not in an intentional state, your body is trained so well to always be at a high frequency. So get into a habit of gratitude. It radiates your skin. There is no facial that can match the aura of a woman that is grateful and graceful, right? The third part of getting into feminine energy and making that easy shift is have rituals. Do not dull down your life. Like if you're sitting for lunch, don't eat from the box. Please get a plate out. You're having your tea or your coffee, sit down. Watch a video on Instagram, listen to music. It sounds so basic. Romanticize every moment, make it intentional. Because what that does is it calms and balances your nervous system. Then you go and hustle and, go kill it on stage or sales, whatever, you can do it. The masculine can do that. They can be go, 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 because their masculine energy allows them to. If we try to do it, you go, 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 go. By the end of it, you're going to be like, annoying, crazy, the voice is obnoxious and attacking. Nobody's going to buy from you. Nobody's going to want to be around you.
I love
So
it.
three things.
It's amazing how these small, tiny things are always add up and create something so powerful. And Kimberly says, with every breath, you're manifesting the energy that either reflects or accepts those vibrations around you. This has made my day. Thank you, ladies. My business is unapologetically you. Collective, come find me. And Ash says, thank you, ladies. This is so refreshing. I mean, we could talk about this. I mean, this is actually my favorite topic at the moment. So I'm so glad that we had this conversation, Kim. We are out of time. Is there anything else you want to say before we end? And also, how can people find you?
Absolutely. The one thing I love to leave everyone with, you're not stuck. You're not stuck. You're not stuck at work. You're not stuck in your body. You're not stuck in your relationship. When you get up and say, I really deserve better, but that starts with, I'm going to be better. Take that, sit with it, write it out. If I don't like my life, who stopped me from changing it? If I don't like my friendships, who stopped me from changing it? But can I point the finger back and say, what am I bringing to every table that I sit on? It is never too late to start from the beginning, and give yourself that permission. You're looking for permission, you're looking for a sign, Kalas, this is your sign.
Amazing.
And you can find me on LinkedIn, Kim Shelar. I have a cute little workbook that gives you the list of, if you want to recognize if you're in your masculine energy or your wounded feminine energy. It's on my Instagram. It gives you a couple of lists of what is the masculine energy in a woman and the feminine energy. And then pop me a message anywhere, and happy to.
Amazing. No, thanks, Kim. Can you put all of your links on the post so people can just click, like Instagram, everything you have? So people
right
can just
here?
No, it won't show here on the actual post, because it's a streamer. And Ash says, so true. Wow, never thought of it like this. But thank you so much, Kim. And thank you everybody for joining. Please message Kim. She is a serious expert on this. and so many other topics as well.
I'm not a serious expert. I'm the very funniest expert. I'm an expert, but not at all serious. I think I get away with saying the harshest things to my clients because it comes with this face.
No, but you're so knowledgeable. Like you've got so much talent, and I think you're so gifted with all of this. So please, anybody, if you have any questions about this, please message Kim directly or leave a comment on the post or ask a question there. And yes, Kim's going to put all of her links on, so you can just follow her there. But thank you so much, Kim. It's been absolutely amazing. We'll have to do another one, but thank you so much, and I'll see everybody next week.